Hey guys, it is your girl lalaG here, and welcome to the Absolute Most, where we focus on fashion, pop culture, current events, and a little bit of lifestyle mixed in. We put out videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays, so as soon as I learn how to speak, let's get this film started. Get the show started. Oh, hello. Today, we are covering another movie because it's that time of year. So today we have Black Widow. Now, a little story about me and Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson is probably one of my least favorite Avengers. So there was some hesitation to go see this film. But you know what? The supporting characters, including Daddy Hopper from Stranger Things, is in this. And Florence Pugh. I had to go see it because, you know. And plus, you gotta support Marvel. So, let's get into this review. And I promise you, it's not going to be as long as Fast and the Furious. Alright, the film starts off in Ohio. 1989. You got a young... what is Black Widow's name? Hold on, I got my notes here. A young Natasha Romanoff with her sister Yelena. And they're playing in the yard, and oh, it's like this super happy life. And you're like, so how did we go left in these Marvel films? And then and like I said, I'm sorry, I got my notes here, so I'm gonna look over occasionally because I can't remember nobody's name. So we got her mother, Milena, and she's like, oh, come on in, and the kids come on in. So Dad comes home, and Dad, Alexei, which is Daddy Hopper from Stranger Things, and he doesn't have the beard, so I'm kind of like, I don't know if I like him with this beard. Without this beard, it's just not doing the same thing for me. But anywho, he gets home and he kind of like whispers to, or he kind of like gives Milena like these cues, like, we gotta go. So they about to get up and get out and go on this adventure. And they get in the car, and it turns out that they're running from S.H.I.E.L.D. Colonel Ross, I think he's a colonel by now, or at that point, whatever. S.H.I.E.L.D. is on the run, or on behind them, and S.H.I.E.L.D. is almost getting ready to catch up. They go to this airfield, they get this airplane, bunch of believable but unbelievable hijinks pursue, and they take off, and they go to Cuba. So this rickety plane makes it from Ohio to Cuba, where Milena, in the process of Milena leaving Ohio, she gets shot in the gut, and then little mini Natasha has to fly the plane until they can get Dad on the plane. Like I said, it was a lot of hijinks, but yet still more believable than those Fast and Furious movies. So they get to Cuba, they take Milena, and then Alexei meets with Dreykov. And Dreykov's like, you know, real shady looking, but, you know, he's the man in charge. So they take Milena, and then they're like getting ready to take the kids, and then, oh, young Natasha was like, oh no. So then she takes the gun and almost like was about to jack some people. I was like, okay, Natasha, you spunky. And Dreykov saw that too. So they take off, or they drug the girls and then take the girls, and this is where it shows this montage of these girls are in training to become Black Widow. So Black Widow isn't just one person, it's a whole collective of women that are trained to kill people. Okay, instead of me going back and editing, I might have misspoke earlier. They were not being chased by General Ross in the beginning. It was just S.H.I.E.L.D., which technically was Hydra back then because it was the 80s, pre-Avengers, so whatever. I digress. So we get to the point, this movie takes place a couple days after Civil War. So Natasha's on the run, and then that's where you got General Ross. He's General, right? General Thaddeus Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt, that's my new name. Is on trying to find Natasha, but you know, Natasha, she's a super spy. Super spy! She's a super spy, and she says, you know what? You too old and slow, man. I'm out. And so Natasha on the run. Super spy. Alright, from this point, we switch over to Yelena. Yelena. I'm trying to say it with my Russian accent, but it does not work. Yelena is in Moscow with some other Black Widows, and they are chasing a former person who used to be a Black Widow who went rogue. There's going to be a reason why I went rogue. Say rogue. So, chasing ensues, and then Yelena meets up with, or catches up to the rogue Black Widow, and they're fighting, and then Yelena stabs her in the gut. And before the one who defected dies, she breaks open this vial, and this red smoke comes out. And so whatever spell Yelena was under, she snaps out of it. And then she takes the rest of the vials, and she says, I'm out. This is... Alright, Natasha moves to a safe house in Norway. And our homie Rick gives her some supplies, gets her a trailer, etc., and she has generators. So Rick failed to put gas in the generator, so Natasha has to drive into town to get gas. And as her way she's driving in town, bam! Car gets hit and it like flows up in the air. And of course it's on a bridge and it's like dangling off a bridge. So Natasha's like, WTF, how am I about to get out of this situation? So Natasha gets out the car, and lo and behold, the Taskmaster is there and starts kicking her ass promptly. So in some scenes that you'll see, Taskmaster watch videos of people fighting, so she kind of like can mimic or predict what they're going to do next. And you can see while they're fighting, she's like analyzing like and like, you know, it's got percentages, all this stuff. You're just like, what the Marvel? And so she was like, and so Taskmaster realizes what she's looking for is not necessarily Natasha, it's something in the car. And so some more fighting ensues, and it looks like the Taskmaster has won and she's gotten what was in the car, what Natasha was looking for, but she doesn't. Natasha took the packages out the car and swam to safety. So Natasha goes to the safe house in Budapest. And lo and behold, Yelena's there. And then as what sisters do, they start fighting. And they're like to the death, like they're just choking, slapping. It might be some knives, some guns, you know, just regular sister stuff. And so they decide on a truce, and Yelena's like, why would you bring the red dust back here? These fools is looking for us. And guess who decides to show up? Some Black Widows, and they is on that ass. Lots of fighting ensues, and so one Black Widow falls down and her leg is like broken. Like you can see it's just like this. And then Dreykov is like, oh, she is no good to me. Boom, and then kills her. And like her face is like all like looking like Two-Face in them Batman movies. That's what it looked like. I don't know any other way to explain how it looked like. Oh, I forgot to add this. Yelena also let Natasha know that Dreykov is not dead, because what Natasha had to do as a gang initiation to get into the Avengers was to kill Dreykov and get rid of the Red Room. But no, she didn't. In grand movie fashion, he is still alive, and she tried to kill her daughter. What was the daughter's name? I don't know. But I don't see it right here. But she is also still alive too, in some way and form. I'll tell you more later. As Yelena and Natasha try to escape, Taskmaster shows up and proceeds to kick their asses. I will say this. This broad shows up in a tank, and they are in the streets with the tank. These scenes of fighting were more realistic than what I've seen in those Fast and the Furious movies. Like, it was like, oh, okay, you know, that might happen. Oh, it's some cool motorcycle stuff. All right, I see y'all. Oh, okay. Still believable than Fast and the Furious films. I don't know how to explain it. So they get away from the Taskmaster. They get away from the Taskmaster, and, you know, they're all sitting, chilling in, like, one of their little hideaway spots, getting some supplies, and they gotta call on the homie Rick, and they gotta give him this plane. And Rick, he comes through, but it's kind of shisty, but he do come through. The goal is we got to get rid of the red room asaptual and get rid of Dreykov and all the harm he is doing to women across the world. So let's get on this plane. And now we're gonna cut to Alexei.
It looks like your Wi-Fi name or password has changed. To update your Wi-Fi information, go to the Alexa app.
I didn't say Alexa though. I just said Alexei. So we cut to Alexei and he's in prison. Because that's where Dreykov put Alexei. So at this point, he's reminiscing about being the Red Guardian. This fool is like, he's doing arm wrestling while getting tattoos. He's getting this massive, like, Red Guardian tattoo on his back. So guess who shows up in the helicopter? His two ex-daughters. And they're like, and they send him a doll, a Red Guardian doll. And in the head is an earpiece. And they're like, hey, don't cause a scene. Well, we about to bust you out. And what does this fool do? Cause a scene. And it is fighting ensues. Cops, people I'm trying to get out too. Like trying to get out this prison. Everybody's trying to get out. Just a lot of fighting. Still more realistic than Fast and Furious movies at this point. And they just fighting. And so Yelena shoots a rocket. I think it's a rocket. Shoots a rocket, tries to destroy this building as a distraction. Causes an avalanche because they're like in the snowy somewhere, and they're like, oh shit, we got to get this fool out. So throughout some stunts and just the miracle of Marvel, they get him out and they fly off. All right, the girls are pissed. They don't, this nigga lied to them like, you gave us this fake family, fake dreams. We was just kids. And so then they ask him, yo, do you know what a red room is? You know where Dreykov is? And he's like, Alexei's like, no, but I think Milena might. And they're like, how do you find Milena? And he's like, well, smell the pigs. And lo and behold, we cut to a pig farm. And it's Milena mind controlling this pig through a maze. And you're just like, WTF? What is going on here? And so she's like, she sees him coming, alarm's going off, or I think an alarm went off. Alarm went off, and she sees him coming, and she's like, oh my gosh, what are you doing here? Sounds like a good accent. And so she leads him inside and starts fixing meals. Family shenanigans ensue. There's fighting, nothing like a bloodbath. But, Alexei tries to fit in his Red Guardian suit, and it's tight. But, he's still going to put it on because, he's supposed to be Red Guardian. He supposedly fought Captain America, but Captain America's in ice. Make up your mind. Ooh, I got a theory about that. We'll talk about that on Twitter. Not soon after, or maybe a couple hours after in Marvel time, Dreykov's men come, and apparently Melania snitched. So what is these people's name? Natasha, Yelena, and Alexei, they get all taken to the Red Room. Do you know what the Red Room is? Do you know where it was? It's in the air. And these Marvel fools couldn't... Nick Fury couldn't find this? He didn't have this on his radar? I have questions. See, this is why I can't get too deep with Marvel films, because how y'all not know this Red Room was there? Just floating up here. Nick Fury, this is pre-Endgame, so y'all should have known he was there. So they get there and they lock up Alexei and Natasha, and then they're gonna do surgery like on Yelena. They like carving, putting it on her head, all this stuff. So basically, what Milena has done, she has created, I don't know if it's like a serum, I don't remember this part, but like where you can control the minds. I think it's like a serum or something. And this is what they're giving Black Widows around the world so they can control them. And that red spray is what snaps them out of it. So that's what they're trying to prevent, not getting this red spray out, basically. So we're all at the Red Room. We're chilling. You got your two in the prison, in the jail. You got Natasha and Alexei. Old girl about to get her head cut off. Alright, so everybody's in the red room in the air, just chilling. Alexi's in his cell, so is Natasha, and so Melena's brought to Dreykov, and Dreykov noticed something's off. And so he tries to touch her and she moves back, and then he touches her face. Her face comes off. She's got a mask. You know what? That's not Melania. It's Natasha. So Natasha is like, tries to start fighting this nigga, but she can't because he has his pheromones where he can't be, they can't like touch him, like they can't be violent. So every time she like tries to smell it, to inhale, she can't like, she can't go through with it. So this was all staged as part of the plan. So what happened, because basically Melania designed this place. So she knew if she got locked up, she would be able to release herself and Alexei and then start wreaking some havoc. But she didn't let them two know. And she also gave an earpiece to Yelena, and to where Yelena was like, hey, I got you a knife in your pocket. Start cutting bitches. And you know what? She did. Back with Dreykov, after he lets her know he has the pheromones or whatever to where people can't attack him, he reveals that the Taskmaster is his daughter Antonia, which was also supposedly killed in that building in that gang initiation for the Avengers that Natasha was supposed to do. So you always gotta check for the bodies. Just because it ain't a building there still standing doesn't mean the body still ain't there standing. And so basically she is like under the control also of the Black Widows, but her face is so severely scarred after that whole incident with Natasha trying to kill niggas and not going through with it. So while Melania is trying to land the Red Room, guards come and a lot of fighting ensues. Melania blows up one of the engines for the Red Room, and we start singing. We just start singing, and shit starts to go all awry. So Alexei starts fighting the Taskmaster. The Taskmaster's like been, delegated, because she's also under his control, been delegated to go kick these people's asses. And she does, but Alexei gets the upper hand on her and traps her into one of those jails. And they're like, oh shit, here we go. At this point, Natasha starts talking smack to Dreykov. And and he starts hitting the shit out of her. And we're like, I don't want to see this kind of stuff. Like, damn, this is not right. And so then she sits down and, he's telling this plan about all the other Black Widows. And she goes, you didn't hit me hard enough and you're all this. And then smashes her head into the desk to where she breaks part of her nose to where she can't smell. And then proceeds to go to town on Dreykov. But then Dreykov's like, oh no, I can't fight. So then all the other Black Widows are summoned. And they were like, take care of this, take care of my lightweight. And they just start wailing on Natasha, like, cha-cha, boom, boom. And he's like, all right, I'm about to escape because, this is about to, and I gotta, control my other Black Widows. And here comes Yelena, and she drops not a bomb, but she drops with the smoke, and it makes it click to where all the other Black Widows are like, oh no, what's going on? Why are we doing this? They snap out of his control. So as this is all going on, the Red Room is starting to just sink. And so Natasha and Yelena are making their way out. Natasha goes to release the Taskmaster. Is it Taskmaster? Taskmaster. Why can't I remember these names? Goes to release her, and they kind of start fighting, but they're like, oh no, we gotta get off this plane. So, or this Red Room. So they get to the, outsides of it. And then you got the homeboy trying to run away. And so Yelena jumps onto the top of the helicopter where he's with his goons and opens up this I guess it's a stick, and sticks it in the engine. She blows off, and she falls off, and Natasha's like, no! Oh no! And Dreykov dies, like he's gone. And so Natasha, in some beautiful like air serial thing, she like jumps off, gets a parachute, grabs Yelena, and parachute or attempts to parachute to the ground with her. But here comes that damn Taskmaster, and they fight in midair. And I tell you, this was some talented. I don't know who choreographed this stuff, but it was very talented, and I appreciate because it was still more believable than the Fast and the Furious movies. And they fight in the air, and they land in the air, and they land, and then they start fighting again. And Natasha luckily has a vial, and she clicks open the helmet and breaks the vial, and the girl is out of her dad's spell now and forever. So the widows that were on the Red Room, you know, they land because they got a plane too. You know, everybody survives except for Dreykov, and they take Antonia, Taskmaster's daughter, and they all get back on this plane, and so does Yelena and Sergei and Melania. Alexei. Why did I say Sergei? Alexei. They get on the plane, and she's like, you know what? I gotta go fix things with my other family. And so she goes off, and a couple weeks later now, Natasha has blonde hair, and she meets up with the homie Rick, and he always said, if you give me more time and more money, I can get you what you need. And man, she got a jet, and this is when she's about to go break out, capping them from the jail. And then it ends. Post-credit scenes. So you see Yelena, she is going, this is 2024 after Natasha has sacrificed herself in the Avengers Endgame, and she visits her grave, and so she's just chilling, and then old girl from Captain and Winter Soldier, and I'm gonna look at my notes because I need to get a name correct. It is Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. Comes, and she's like, you know, I got some work for you. She's apparently working for her now, and she hands her an iPad, and she goes, we want you to go after the man who killed your sister. And it's Clint Barton. That is it for this wild ass ride of Black Widow. Like I said, more believable than any Fast and the Furious movie. I will say this as somebody who is not a fan of Natasha Romanoff nor Scarlett Johansson. This was a pretty solid film in terms of fact. Beautiful beginning, middle, end. There were no like down parts. I would say it's in my top 10 Marvel films. It might be in my top 15, and it's definitely not the worst Marvel film I've ever seen. And with that being said, the worst Marvel films are still better than the DC films. I digress. It was really good. I would recommend it to anybody. Don't listen to these bro brothers who's like, because it's a woman lead. Go see it. It's great to see, especially that aerial where they're fighting in the air. That scene is worth it to go see at the theaters. My only one complaint is that I did not get enough of Daddy Hopper. He was more like of a comic relief than anything. I would like to see some more fighting with Daddy Hopper. And I was possibly thinking, we were talking about this last night, that, you know, he was saying he was fighting Captain America, all this good stuff. Maybe, because, you know, Captain America was still frozen at that time. Maybe he wasn't fighting Captain America. Maybe he was fighting, never mind, let's not talk about that, because now we got to get into Winter Soldier and all this stuff. But I think y'all know where I was going. I'm your girl, lalaG. Thank you for watching the absolute most. I appreciate it. I'm glad y'all are rocking with me with these previews. They're so fun to do. And this time I did not have a drink during this, and it was still all over the place. It was a really good film. Go see it. Thank you guys for rocking with me. I appreciate it. I love it. I love you guys. Make sure you have a great day, great evening, great night, great whatever. Make it great. I love you. Hello kids, welcome to The Absolute Most, where we focus on fashion, pop culture, current events, and a little bit of lifestyle mixed in. We focus... That's not what I want to do. Or say what you want.